Baby, that accuser of Jay-Z, the VMA accuser, baby, she's cooked. We've also got information on the going home services for Angie Stone. We're also going to talk about two stories that have been in the news that I haven't covered, but I just wanted to kind of give an introduction to those stories. We're going to talk about the Virginia High School track athlete who was bopped in the back of the head by another athlete, and we're going to give you an update on the Caleb Wilson hazing debacle and manslaughter right after this. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture. And this is what this is. We've got some celebrity legal news, and we've got some pop culture chat news, and we're going to go over that. But before we do, y'all hit that like button and subscribe. You'll be open to all the videos that I have done, either in celebrity legal news, pop culture chats, or Justin Baldoni news. I also will be doing a live at 3:30 today, I believe it is. Just going over the Justin Baldoni news because so much stuff comes in on that case daily. I have just put it down to a week because it gets to be, in my opinion, a bit obsessive to try to do something every day. And particularly because there's so many people doing the same thing. I just want to be able to do a recap. Uh, we will continue to go over the lawsuits and all those legal news things that we need to do, but just some of the other news and things like that, I would like to just keep that as a weekly thing. And then I'll be going over some interesting timelines as far as this case is going on with that. So let's get into this, y'all. Last weekend it was reported that a young lady uh was running track, Virginia High School League, running track, and as she was turning the corner, and I think they were doing a relay race, it appeared from the video that we saw that the young lady behind hit the young girl in the head with the running baton. And it is my understanding that that hit caused the young lady to have a severe concussion and possible skull fractures. So I want to do this. I want to share my screen. Let's see. Let's pause that. Let me share my screen real quick. We're going to watch the event. All right, you see this? All right, so let's watch the event as it played out without any sound. All right. And this is the young lady right here in the middle. Um, the junior, she was running outside of the she ran to the middle of the field and she passed out. She did go to the hospital. Um, uh, she did go to the hospital and she was diagnosed with a concussion. The other runner who attends IC Norcom High School has not been named. She says Kayleen's parents said that Norcom's athletic director and the girl's father apologized in a phone call. I definitely want the coaches and a personal apology from the actual athlete as well, because it's only, it's only right, says Keith Tucker, Kayleen's father, which is true. So let's see what's going on. There's some more information about this. All right. We're going to share my screen again. So here is the young lady, Alia Everett. She did an interview. She was crying. She says that her character has, y'all will be smirchifying her character. She says, quote, I would never hit somebody on purpose. She said of the accident at the Virginia State Championship race. A high school sprinter is speaking out for the first time after she was disqualified. And let me go back. This was on Yahoo News, and it was written by Sam Gillette. The other article that talked about Kaylin was ABC Action News. Good Morning America was the video. And I'm not seeing who wrote this article. It's not telling me who wrote that article. And I do apologize, because I do like to make it a habit of making sure that I quote, give people credit. So the headline is from People. Uh, it's Yahoo Sports, but this article is from People magazine. And it says track star who hit opponent in the head with baton breaks silence amid controversy over if it was intentional. Says, quote, I'd never hit anyone on purpose. I want to see if there's a video. And there is. So let's listen and watch the video. Hold on just one moment.
Tonight, a Portsmouth family says they're telling their side of the story in reference to a shocking incident at a Virginia High School League indoor track meet that left one athlete allegedly injured after she claimed she was struck by a baton held by IC Norcom High School senior Alayla Everett. Everett spoke exclusively to 10 on Your Side's Markeisha Jackson, who brings us much more.
The young athlete in question says there's more to that video than meets the eye.
Everybody has feelings. So you're physically hurt, but you're not thinking of my mental, right?
Alayla Everett is a decorated athlete and senior at IC Norcom High School. She would have never thought her trip to the Class 3 track and field state finals last Tuesday would take a drastic turn.
They're going off of one angle.
Alayla visibly emotional because of this video from the meet. This was a 4x200-meter relay race, and she and a Brookville High School athlete were rounding a curve on the track when they nearly collided with each other.
Okay, after a couple times hitting her, my baton got stuck behind her back like this, and it rolled up her back. I lost my balance, and when I pumped my arms again, she got hit.
It appears intentional, but Alayla says it was accidental.
But I know my intentions, and I would never hit somebody on purpose. I didn't have to see your first video, second video, 10 video. I know 100% that she won't do this to nobody.
Her parents outraged at the backlash. The IC Norcom relay team was disqualified, a ruling that a local USA track and field official finds questionable. He says a play-by-play look shows that the Brookville athlete was running closely to Alayla.
If a person comes up on the outside, they got to be a full stride ahead of me before they can cut in front of me.
The other family spoke with the news station in Roanoke asking for an apology from Alayla, something she wants to give, but she says the other athlete hasn't been receptive, blocking her on social media, and instead the Everett family was served with court papers.
And now we have to go to a city 3 hours away that everybody hates our guts already.
They're assuming my character, calling me ghetto, racist slurs, death threats, all of this just because of a 9-second video.
VHSL says they are still reviewing the situation, and Portsmouth Public Schools says they will support whatever ruling comes from the league. Markeisha Jackson, 10 on Your Side.
Tonight, a Portsmouth
All right. So we saw from we saw her video, and we saw the video. Let's go ahead and play a little bit of what the young lady said to give it fair balance.
And reaching for her head.
The whole Coliseum pretty much gasped. I just jumped up.
The athlete swings her baton, striking Kaylin.
I just felt a bang on my head and then I fell off the track immediately.
Kaylin dropping her baton and reaching for her head.
The whole Coliseum pretty much gasped. I just jumped up out of the bleachers immediately and ran to her on the main floor.
The 16-year-old was later diagnosed with a concussion. The family says neither the athlete who struck Kaylin nor the other team's coaches checked on Kaylin or reached out afterwards.
To see that they kept running and she not stop and check on my daughter, that was the part where I was like, it couldn't have been an accident.
The other runner, who attends IC Norcom High School, has not been named. Kaylin's parents say Norcom's athletic director and the girl's father apologized in a phone call, but they're still waiting for the opposing athlete and her coaches to reach out.
We definitely want the coaches and a personal apology from the actual athlete as well, because it's only right.
The Virginia High School League saying in a statement, "We thoroughly review every instance like this," adding, "The VHSL membership has always made it a priority to provide student athletes with a safe environment for competition."
All right, so you've heard both sides of this. I'm going to stop sharing. Heard both sides of this. What do you all think? Do you think it's intentional? There's several different angles that have been put out. Those are the angles that I initially saw. I did see that there was a couple of other angles that were put out. Tell me what y'all are thinking about this. Do you think it was intentional? Because when you look at the first and initial angle, it does look intentional. When you look at it from behind, you do see what the young lady is talking about. So again, the Virginia High School League is going to have to do the investigation to figure out what they need to do about this. I will tell you this, as the parents, I think at this point in time, I don't think that the kids need to be on social media. I don't think it, because I've been on different social media sites, the Shade Room and all this other stuff, and there's a lot of people that have a lot of hate for these teenagers. And there is another video that has subsequently come out of another track and field race where the two runners are two white males, and one white male pushes the other white male in front. And you don't see, when you look at the comments under this, it's not as severe. It's not as severe as it was for this. And so I'm not into all of these death threats. I'm not into all of those things. Now, I will say that I really wish that the parents did not allow the girls to be on the thing, because again, the second girl is crying. She's upset because she's getting all these things, and it doesn't seem like she's coming off authentically, because she's talking about herself and people are like, oh, she's being self-centered. But as I've had an opportunity to sit in it, and I'm like, well, if you're in this day and age, social media for these young people are everything. They have operated in a life where social media is part of their personality, so to speak. And so I can see both. I can see her side of that. I still have much empathy for the young lady that was hit upside her head. I mean, good Lord. You're out there running and running in track and field, and this is something that you'd like to do, and then you get popped in the back of your head. And so, all grace has to go towards her. And I hope that the Virginia High School League is doing a thorough investigation. I am not sure if any criminal charges are going to come up. I don't think that there will, because I don't think that there was any malice in it or anything like that. I'm not going to go as far. It looked intentional to me. I ain't gonna hold you. It looked intentional to me. But again, whatever those parents, I side in empathetic with the young lady that got bopped on her head. Whatever they decide that they want to do, I'm in support of that. Tell me what y'all think about this story. We got high school kids bopping each other upside the head and all kinds of stuff. Uh, Hold on, y'all. See what it is. I have so many tabs. I have so many tabs open, child. I think my computer is probably having a slight stroke over here. Thank you. All right. Maybe that happened. So let's continue. We've got a little bit more updates in regards to Angie Stone. As you know, recall that on March 1st, Angie Stone lost her life in a car accident uh, outside of Montgomery, Alabama. And so what we have learned that there have been a lot of tributes and things like that. We do know that the other persons in her vehicle, they survived. They went to their, most of them went to the hospital. I don't think anyone is still in the hospital, though a few people did were in the hospital for a few days. It is my understanding. Let me share this portion of the screen. One thing about Angie Stone, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but her hair was always gorgeous to me. Nice big afros, regardless if she paid for the hair or not, it doesn't matter. But it was always gorgeous to me in this style that we see here. So it says here, and this is coming from Brown Girl Grinding, her looks like her Twitter site, that I received the homegoing services for Angie Stone will be take place Friday, March 14th in Atlanta, Georgia, and on Saturday, March 15th in her hometown of Columbia, South Carolina. So she's going to have two funerals, one in Atlanta and one in South Carolina. And it's my understanding that according to this, that Tyler Perry, Kirk Franklin, and Anthony Hamilton will be, and it also says the Walls Group, Kiki Wyatt, Tamala Mann, Music Soul Child, Yana Crawley, Q Parker, and Q Parker is from the group 112 and Stout. So it looks like it's going to be, and that sounds like that's going to be happening in Atlanta. So it looks like there's going to be a star-studded homegoing service for her in Atlanta on March 14th. And again, thoughts and prayers to her family. See, this is that hair that I just enjoyed about her. Beautiful woman, beautiful hair, all of those things. Let's see. Doo-doo-doo. Please hit that like button. I'm just trying to pull up. Here we go. What I'm trying to do is find the story before we get into Jay-Z. So last week or week before last, actually, there was an incident on the Southern University campus where a student, Caleb Wilson, lost his life in what appears to be a hazing incident. So last week, Caleb, the guy that was arrested that had injured injured Caleb to the point that he passed away. His name was Caleb too, and Caleb McCrae. He's 23 years old. He turns up. He was charged with criminal hazing and manslaughter. We've also had two more. Excuse me. We have two more young men that have been arrested as well, that have been suspected in his arrest. So let's go ahead and read this article by ABC News, written by Meredith Delicio. Two more suspects have been arrested in the connection with the death of a Southern University and A&M college student during an alleged hazing event. And these young men were pledging Omega Psi Phi. Caleb Wilson, a 20-year-old junior at the college in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, died following an off-campus incident last month, school officials say. Wilson collapsed after being punched in the chest multiple times while pledging to a fraternity, according to Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morse. Now, if you're not familiar or if you're not aware, it was back in the 1990s. back in the 1990s, where the governments had made hazing illegal. Because I was around in the 90s. I was in the latter half of my college days in the 90s. But what was happening is that you had several deaths, and it's not just black fraternities and sororities. It was also white sororities and fraternities. Particularly, a lot of them were dying because of alcohol related hazing hazing rituals, I guess we're going to call it like that. A lot of people were dying. You had 18 and 19-year-old men dying from trying to chug as much alcohol as they can upside down, or doing exercises, or running and doing exercises, whatever rituals that they were doing, physical things that they were doing too much. I do remember on several campuses, you heard particularly there were instances of some people breaking bones and having bones broken because of things like throwing people down the stairs, again having them run, having to run through gauntlets of people with paddles, hitting on them and things like that. We hear that with band fraternities. I think if we can remember, was it Florida A&M? Y'all let me know where the guy pledging a band fraternity was on the bus, and he had to run through a little gauntlet of something like that, and he ended up being pruned from the timeline because of that. So there's a lot of instances, and anyway, hazing, and that is those types of things where you're using alcohol, where you're using physical abuse, whether you're using emotional abuse. Those types of things are illegal. Do they happen? Yes, they do. You still see that. You do see that a lot of these hazing events happen. A lot of people are like, well, that's what they need to do. There are a lot of organizations where you don't really hear peep. Every now and then it always happens. It seems it if you look at it, watch it, it'd be like it always like every 8 or 9 years when the heat is down, then you'll have some people who are deciding that they want to be hazers. So let's finish this article. Two more suspects have been arrested in connection with the death of a Southern University A&M college student during a hazing incident, police said. Caleb Wilson, a 20-year-old junior at the college in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, died following an off-campus incident last month. And this is how the schools try to uh, push blame or push authority away, because it's an off-campus event. If it was an on-campus event, the school possibly would be held, have some level of liability, because they're supposed to be responsible for all of the actions and events that happen on the school. But this was an off-campus event. Wilson collapsed after being punched in the chest multiple times while pledging. A group of males dropped him off unresponsive at a local hospital and reported he collapsed after being struck in the chest while playing basketball at a city park, according to court filings, where they told a lie. Because here's the thing. There were other people there. There were other pledges there. And I am quite sure that they told the business. Now, what will be interesting, and my members, those folks that you all that are part of the D9, what's interesting to me is, because of this incident, will those other people who pledged with Wilson, will they be able to join the organization, or will this, because this line has so much controversy surrounded that this young man passed away, will they just not be able to go through? Will the people who are charged, will they be removed from the organization? Y'all let me know down in the comments, because I'm not sure. I didn't pledge or do anything like that, so I'm not sure about the ins and outs. And if you can speak on it, let me know. If you can't, still let me know, but I won't say anything. One suspect, 23-year-old Caleb McCrae, turned himself in to the East Baton Rouge Parish prison last week with his attorney, and has been charged with criminal hazing and manslaughter. Two additional suspects were arrested this week for criminal hazing, a felony. The Baton Rouge Police Department said Tuesday. Kyle Thurman, 25, arrested in Port Allen, Louisiana on Monday by the U.S. Marshal Fugitive Task Force. Oh, they came and got him. Was extracted to Baton Rouge and booked into the Eastern Baton Rouge Parish Prison. Isaiah Smith turned himself in early Tuesday and was booked into an East Baton Rouge Parish Prison. Now, let me just say this because you saw my face do, kind of flip back. And I don't begrudge anybody doing anything. Caleb Wilson was 20 years old. Caleb McCrae was 23 years old. The other two suspects that were arrested, these people were 25 and 28 respectively. This tells me, are these young men have graduated? These two young men, have they graduated, but they're still members of Omega Psi Phi? Were they mentors? Who were they? Because you got one is damn near 30 participating in hazing. Anyway, so we have two extra suspects, and we want to support the family of Caleb Wilson. They sent their son to school. They sent their son to have the experience of being in college, and whether, regardless of where you stand on pledging fraternities or sororities, they didn't send their son to be physically hurt and thus losing his life. So, going to college and getting the college experience, I've always wanted people to do that if that's what you want to do. But this is not that serious. That it's not that serious that you hasten when you know that it is illegal to do such. And this is possibly why they went off campus to do what they do, because they knew that they couldn't do any of those things on campus. But my other what I do want to kind of express, again, I am no expert. I'm just talking as someone who is an auntie who will be having a young man going to college soon. These organizations, and I'm not saying that they are not doing the work. I don't mishear me, but I do think that it is going to have to be that all of these things are going to have all of these anything that these pledging. All pledging has to be on campus. All pledging has to be open to the organization. There's nothing to be done off campus. Nothing. Write that in the charter. Nothing to be done off campus. And honestly, it should be done with and I don't know what you all call them. Are they mentors? Are they coordinators or whoever? Because I'm quite sure that there's somebody in the organization, recruiters or somebody in the organization that's kind of over the chapters in the colleges, that anything dealing with the pledging should not be done outside of that person's purview. And I say persons should be more than one. It shouldn't be done outside the purview, because again, this is going to have, it's always 8 to 10 years, because like I said, the last one I remember was the young man on the bus. And I think that was Florida A&M, and y'all let me know down in the comments. But what that was Florida A&M, where they were doing he was pledging a band fraternity, and they were hitting him with something, and then he ended up losing his life as well. So I think it's high time again. It's high time to these are preventable things. These shouldn't happen. And I am very upset to know that two more people who have been at their 25 and 28 years old respectively, who probably was influencing the 23-year-old Caleb McCrae. And here we are now having a 20-year-old who was under the tutelage of these three men and plus, because I don't understand why the other men. You can't make me believe that there weren't other men who were there, who were part of the Omega Sci-Fi organization, saw what was going on, knew what was going on, and nobody stepped in to stop this mess until this man collapsed. I mean, good Lord, you could have had them do push-ups. You shouldn't have had them do anything like that, because you know that hazing is illegal. You shouldn't have had them do anything. But this is just a senseless loss of life. And again, my empathy and my prayers are to Caleb Wilson and his family. All right, y'all, let's get to the story of the day. Woman accused. Now, if you're not familiar, woman accused who accused Jay-Z of SA heard on recording saying lawyer pushed her to sue. Now, why is this important? This is important because, as you remember, Jay-Z was sued civilly along with Sean Combs, aka Diddy, in regards to I call it the VMA incident, to where this young woman who says that when she was 13 years old, she had gone to the VMAs at Radio City Music Hall in 2000 to watch the VMAs. She couldn't get in because she didn't have a ticket. However, she stated that she was transported to a mansion with a circular driveway from Radio City Music Hall, which was about 20 minutes, as she said, 20 minutes from her home. And 20 minutes from Radio City Music Hall, she says she was given an alcoholic beverage, and then she was essayed by Sean Combs, and she was essayed by Jay-Z, and that there was a woman celebrity in the room as well, and watch this. So if you're not familiar, I have a couple of videos on this particular subject. Now, so what has happened? We have a woman who accused Jay-Z, heard on the recording saying that the lawyer pushed her. Now, we do have Jay-Z basically saying that has filed a lawsuit, a federal lawsuit in the state of Alabama against this woman, against Tony Busby, and against other attorneys, saying that they all conspired to extort him of money. So the woman, let's read the article written by Aaron Katursky, Caitlin Morris, Vera Dryman, and Santina Luigi. The woman who said that she was 13 at the time of the incident, I went over that, is heard on a recording agreeing Jay-Z did not assault her, and saying her lawyers pushed her to sue Jay-Z. The woman's lawsuit against Jay-Z and Combs has been withdrawn with prejudice, meaning it can't be revived. The recording, an excerpt of which is obtained by ABC News, is between the woman identified as Jane Doe and two private investigators associated with Carter. It quotes her saying, he was just there, but he didn't have anything to do with any SA towards you. The private investigator asks. Yeah, Jane Doe replied. Carter's attorney, Alex Spear, denies that Jay-Z's ever met Jane Doe. In the recording, the woman is heard telling investigators that her lawyer, Tony Busby, put her up to suing Jay-Z. He was the one that kind of pushed me toward going forward with him, with Jay-Z. The woman is heard saying. Busby did the investigations? Yeah, the woman replied. Busby called the idea that he pushed her into suing Jay-Z a blatant lie. As far as the suggestion that I pushed Jane Doe to bring a case against Jay-Z, that is a blatant lie that is directly contrary to the documentary evidence, Busby said in a statement provided to ABC News. Carter's attorney said that the tape speaks for itself and should leave no doubt about his innocence. She says in no uncertain terms that Mr. Carter did not do this. It is effectively a lie, and the only reason Mr. Carter is even involved in this is because she was pushed to involve him, Spiro told ABC News in an exclusive report. So, this is going to be interesting. I'm not going to play the video. But this is definitely interesting to hear that they have further information, and what this affects. If you all not, Busby, and I'm trying to get all the ones that he has filed up because it's a lot of the. It's a lot. Uh, Sean Diddy Combs has probably 30, 40 cases against him flat out right now. So there's a lot of different cases. So I'm trying to get a good timeline of all of these different cases that were filed against him. But a lot of them were filed by Busby. And so this is also leading credence to maybe those cases may be dropped because now people are I'm quite sure that Diddy's attorneys are with a fine-tooth comb going through all those cases that Busby has put forth so that they can present a united front about, hey, these cases should be dropped because of A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Anyway, what do y'all think about this? She's cooked because she's already admitted to that she has been coerced. What do you think? And we also have to understand that Jay-Z has this lawsuit in the in that he filed in Alabama, but he also has one filed in California through their state. Uh, he has a state lawsuit filed against Busby as well. So, what do you all think about this? She's cooked. Busby seems like he's cooked. It does seem like the other cases that are coming through from Busby's law firm, there's a big red question mark right on the top right there because now everything is going to have to be gone through with a fine-tooth comb. Jay-Z is not playing with Busby. He does not like the fact, and I don't think it was wise to bring people in until you should have had more facts than nah. You should have had made things seem a little bit more plausible than nah. I do want to go over. I will go over in another video, but I did briefly go over it. So if you go to Back of the Bus, which is the name of the podcast and the YouTube channel, I did with Marcus and his co-host. I did go over some of the Justin Baldoni information, and I did go over another lawsuit filed against Diddy, which has placed Odell Beckham and Drewski in the middle of it. Uh, things are not piecing their way. I call that the remote control incident. That's the lawsuit, the remote control lawsuit. So the VMA lawsuit, this happened to be with the 13-year-old girl going to the VMAs. That's that lawsuit. Then I have the Hampton lawsuit where the John Doe claimed that he was a security guard and he was assaulted by Sean Combs. And then I have the remote control lawsuit. And this is the one where a young lady she claims that she had been essayed with a remote control. So those are the names of the lawsuits that I have. There are several more, but these are the ones that have stood out. I may do a video in a little bit more in depth. Like I said, I am doing a series in regards to Diddy and all of his lawsuits because his criminal case is coming up in May. So I will be covering that along with a whole other people. One of the instances that we have is the fact that usually federal cases are not televised. So we'll have to rely on if there's somebody in the New York area and you do some YouTubing or anything like that, and you're going to the court thing, y'all let me know because I definitely will follow your page and report the information as you report it coming out of the courtroom. I because it looks like citizen journalism is the best way to get the best information. I'm not slowly finding out, but I do understand that a lot of the mainstream news, they're trying to get those clicks, they're trying to get those views, so they're putting up sensational titles and they're only covering only certain parts of the news instead of exactly what went on in the courtroom. Shout out to Court TV and Law and Order Court. Was it Law and Justice? Well, shout out to all of them because they're able to record in courtrooms and we're able to watch and see what's going on and watch the ins and outs of that. And I think that is a public thing that we should do. I really do want to advocate for federal, especially trials like this, civil trials, criminal trials, or anything like that. The day and age has come that something being televised like that, even if it's just a stream that they control on their webpage. Most definitely, that should be. It's easy to be able to do. There are several states within the union that do it, and I don't see where the feds couldn't do that. And it's also a great record. It's a great way to keep records. It's a great way to be able to hold everybody accountable. There's, you have the court reporter, and I know that has worked. And I'm not saying that the court reporters are doing anything, but I'm just saying you'll have the court reporter, you'll have the video, all the things will be happy, and then us YouTubers will be happy as well. All right, people. We do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Y'all, please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you cannot stand that I'm over here making these videos. And as always, people, bye-bye.